Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and start this next video off, and we're going to work on getting this transmission, or well, my bad, this transmission into the car. Little update from last time, we did get our clutch in, we got our clutch, and we also got a few other things that's just going to help me out. So you know, I got a torque wrench from my dad because I really want to make sure all this stuff gets torqued down right and everything. He also got me a pilot bearing remover. We got the throwout bearing, we got the pilot bearing, so that we can go ahead and do it the right way. And this right here. Okay, this is gonna save my knuckles so much today, because having to pull like the bell housing bolts and everything off with a ratchet and just some extensions, man, I busted my knuckles up. It sucked. So I got this bad boy just to really get the stuff on there good, and then everything's gonna get torqued down. So let me get this clutch laid out and I'll get back with y'all. So this is the new clutch. It is going to be a little bit of an upgrade over the stock clutch. You'll know the stock clutch actually goes all the way around with clutch pad material. This is what's called as a 6-puck clutch, and the reasoning that this is actually stronger and is going to hook better is because this has less surface area than the actual stock clutch, meaning that there'll be more pressure pushed on these individual spots than it would be if it was pushing all the way around it. And that pressure is going to be done by this right here. You can see this is the throwout bearing. This is what actually actuates your clutch. But these fingers in here are what is going in and out, and this is like almost a diaphragm made out of metal, and it's pushing this ring up and down, and that is squeezing this friction disc right here in between the flywheel, and so that's what allows your clutch to actually operate. And you'll see once this pushes on that, it's pushing on 6 places instead of this whole area, which actually causes each individual place to have more force. Alright, and so with this being a little bit of an upgrade, went ahead and we got everything else we needed. We got the throwout bearing here. This is what's going to go actually inside the transmission, and I can show you right here. This is just going to replace that there, and this clutch fork operates that, so you can see it operating here, going in and out. That's pushing the clutch in and out, and that's done by your slave cylinder. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and replace this, and while we're at it, we're going to replace the pilot bearing. Now the pilot bearing is actually inside of the E shaft on this one, and you can see right here this little peg on the transmission. This is what the pilot bearing actually rides on, and I'm not going to slip it on just because I don't want to get any debris or anything left over from this one into the new one. And you see this right here actually looks really similar to this, and there's a reason for that. Once we go to put the clutch in, we're going to need to center this right here actually on the pressure plate. And so what you do is you slide this alignment tool in, it goes into the E shaft through the end there, and that's going to center this up so that once you bolt the clutch up, then you can pull this out and the transmission will slip right in without any problems. At least we're going to hope it goes that way. But I'm about to get down there because we have to actually pull out this old pilot bearing, and we have a remover for that. So courtesy of my dad, we have this pilot bearing remover here, and the way this is going to work is this actually rotates inside here, causing these to expand and contract, and you'll slide that in, you'll expand it, those hooks will grab the outer edge of it, and then you can use this nut right here to actually pull it out. So we're going to jump down there and I'm going to see how this works. Alright guys, now please forgive the bad light, and I don't really have any lights to put down here with me, but this in here is the actual pilot bearing. Now what you're seeing right there isn't the pilot bearing itself, you're seeing a metal seal, and it is reusable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and insert this tool and see if we can get it pulled out. If not, there is other methods we can try. One of them involves actually shoving bread in there and hitting it inside with a punch. So we got options, but we're going to go ahead and give this one a shot first. Well guys, it's been a few days actually. It kind of sucks because we tried to get that pilot bearing out, tried every method, have a huge mess down here, and every method failed. We tried the pilot bearing remover, we tried the bread trick, and I come to the conclusion that it was actually almost welded in there. So I actually ended up using a Dremel to keep grinding it down and grinding it down and grinding it down. But this is the leftover sliver of the old pilot bearing. It finally came out, and when I attempted to put the new pilot bearing that came in with the clutch in, I ended up hammering it just a little too hard and messed it all up. So I had to get a new one ordered, and that took a while to come in. But ordered from AutoZone, it was the wrong one. Ordered from O'Reilly's, it was the wrong one. But Atkins Rotary came through and got the pilot bearing and the seal. And they've included some cool little pins too, which I like pins. But we're gonna go ahead and get the flywheel prepped to install the clutch and hopefully get some work done today, which it's already like 6 o'clock, so there ain't a whole lot more daylight, and y'all know I don't have any lights in here, so I don't know how much more we're gonna be able to get done, but we're gonna go ahead and power through it. So let's jump down there. Alright guys, so before we can do anything else, we have to clean up all this dust from the Dremel, and also the flywheel has some surface rust on it now, just because it's been sitting so long. So what we're going to do with this is I got a rag, and we're going to put some brake clean on it and get it as good as we can. So I'm going to set y'all down and we're going to do that. I do have a huge mess down here now, just because of everything we dealt with. So I'm a little stumbling over myself, but let's see how good we can get this cleaned up. So right off the bat, I'm gonna just go ahead and spray this baby down with some brake clean. All that. So now I'm actually gonna get some brake clean on this rag, and we'll start wiping it down. How's it going, Lincoln? Where we at? I'm about to throw the clutch on. Yeah. See all the trash that come off that? We'll do it again. Alright, and now I'm going to step out because the fumes are crazy. Alright, so now we're going to use this clutch alignment tool here. What this is going to do is go into these grooves on the actual clutch disc itself and line it up with the pilot bearing. That way when we go to slide the transmission in, it goes right through the clutch and into the pilot bearing like it should. So we're going to put this through the clutch plate and in the pilot bearing, slide it to it. Alright, and now we can go ahead and bolt on the pressure plate. So here's the pressure plate here. We're going to do the same thing with brake clean and clean up this surface. That way when it goes on there, there's no contaminants. Now this should be pinned. So let's look and see what. Alright, and now that the pressure plate is on, we can go ahead and begin installing the bolts in the pressure plate itself. Now we have a torque down clutch. So what we can actually do now is pull out that right there. And clutch looks aligned pretty good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop. All right guys, so there's the clutch there, all torqued down, ready to go. And we pulled out the clutch alignment tool because the pressure plate is actually holding the clutch disc in now. And it's not gonna release unless the throwout bearing presses up on those spades right there. So what we're going to do now is actually hop out from under the car and prep the transmission that's going to go in here. We're going to be pulling the throwout bearing off and replacing it with the new one. Alright guys, so as you can see, the sun is going down, which is not good for us. We are running out of daylight, and with no lights that's going to get pretty tricky to do some stuff. Hopefully we can get some lights out here. I don't know, maybe I'll run to town and pick some up, maybe not. Worst case scenario, we get back to work in the morning. But what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and pull this old transmission off the transmission jack and get this new one on the transmission jack and pull it over there so we actually have as much light as we can get. And we're going to go ahead and start getting that one ready to go in. So we have this new throwout bearing here, and we're going to put that on there. We're also going to check the clutch fork, go ahead and check everything, make sure everything looks good. If it does, we're good to go. We're going to have it bolted up on there, and whether or not we get it in the car tonight, we'll see. If not, like I said, in the morning we're going to go for it. But it'd be nice to have it already bolted up to the transmission jack, ready to go. So let's get to work. Alright guys, so we got the used/new transmission over here. The old one's just tucked away in the corner right now. But what I'm going to look at first is just make sure there's nothing. We have to pull off the old one that goes on the new one. It looks like we got the wires here for the reverse and neutral and all that. You can see this boot was actually torn, and on the new one it's not. So that's pretty nice there. I'm not going to overflex it or anything like that. But we do have the same wires. Transmission's a little dusty. Okay, I made the mistake of leaving it out while I was cleaning up this place, and it got really dusty, so we might clean it up. The shifter, I do have the old one. Probably not going to change it out, probably just put something new there. You can see this output shaft seal is destroyed, so I actually need to see about getting a new one of those. I don't want to reuse the one off the old one because this is kind of like one of those while you're here you might as well deals. But what I'm thinking about doing is, I got some brake clean left over. I think I might just spray this sucker down. I don't want to get to cleaning it too bad, just because I don't want anything to get in the transmission itself. I don't know what type of fluid's in it, or if it really shouldn't have any in it, especially with the output shaft. But you can see the flywheel is still on here. So I bought this from a used JDM shop from Canada actually, and it comes with a spare starter and spare flywheel and clutch, it looks like. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to use that starter. I'll just put it up on the shelf, and I'm not going to use this flywheel or the clutch. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off. So clutch, it doesn't look any better than ours. So what I'm going to do is put that out the way, put that on the shelf just in case. Output shaft play, or input shaft play, feels pretty decent, normal. It looks like there's plenty of grease on the throwout bearing, but we're actually going to get to pulling this throwout bearing off. Now, bring y'all over here. I've never took this off, so I don't really know how it comes off. Not really planning on YouTubing it. I'm going to go ahead and go for it, and just see how it works. So, I'm just going to check it out, see what I'm looking at. Looks like you might just pull these down. Maybe up. Well, there goes the throwout bearing itself, but I want to get this clutch fork off as well. Get them in here. Oh, there we go. Just slipped right up. I'm gonna pull it through this boot. I'm gonna be very careful pulling it through the boot because I really don't want to rip it. And it come out just fine. All right. So you can see this little mechanism here. These actually need to be pulled out to pop that baby out. And my hands are super filthy now, So we're gonna clean this up. This is where the clutch fork actually pivots, and we're just gonna give all this a good cleaning right here. And I'm gonna clean this up as well because we're gonna reuse this clutch fork. It doesn't look like it's worn too much, but that throwout bearing is gone. So what I'm actually gonna do is start wipe my hands off and then hose this baby down with some brake clean. What I'm trying to do here is actually pull off all this old grease, because we're going to apply some new grease to it, and I just want to get rid of the stuff that's there. You can see this is where it actually goes into that pilot bearing, and it resembles that clutch alignment tool we use, and that's kind of the point of it. We're going to clean this pivot off here really good. Looks good, and where the actual throwout bearing slides on as well. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and hose down the outside, and I'm gonna get back with y'all on the next episode of the Chef Lake in here.
Hey,
what are we doing in there?
I'm washing my cup that you left outside for a week.
We're gonna head back to the rotary. Alright, we actually pulled off the output shaft seal, and yeah, it looks pretty bad, but I actually got the one off the transmission coming out of the car, and it looks really good. So I know we said we weren't going to run it, and I done lost where I put it. I know we said we weren't going to run it, but called the part stores. They don't have one. This one looks really good. So I'm going to clean it up, grease up a little bit, and slap it on there, and we're going to run it. Got the throwout bearing in. It's all greased up, and you see it's operating as it should. The boot is still looking good, and we got that output shaft seal in there, and we did reuse the old one like I said, but it's all greased up and it looks nice. We locked it back on the pivot back there, so this transmission is ready to drop in. We're going to grease this up here where it actually goes into the pilot bearing, and then strap it up to the transmission jack all the way, and I guess we're going to try to throw it in there tonight. Alright guys, so the transmission is ready to go back into the car. We got the shifter pulled out, that way it can pop up and everything. We got it bolted to the transmission jack. It's ready to go up under the car, slide back in. But just remembered, I left my brand new Milwaukee Impact at my dad's house, so me, Lakin, and my girlfriend. What are you doing?
Got it. You tipped.
Back to what I was saying. We're gonna head over to my dad's house and hang out over there for a little bit, meet and greet, and then we're gonna head back over here. I'm probably gonna try to steal one of his lights from his shop, actually. That way we can get some light and actually work on this through the night. All right guys, so it is dark. We got some light out here, but we're about to try to throw this transmission on in. Might suck, might not. I'm probably gonna put y'all on a time lapse for this, but we're gonna jack the transmission up and get to work. transmission is in there. I did suck it up with 2 bolts. I just had a problem getting at that final bit, but I sucked it up with 2 bolts. There's nothing in the way. I don't know why it did that, but worst case scenario, we go to drive it and it doesn't drive. But you can only really tell that until we get it all together. So we're gonna start getting it together. Y'all already saw me pull it all apart, so most of this is gonna be time lapsed if I film most of it, because the GoPro battery's dead. But probably won't finish it all tonight, so y'all are gonna get an update in the morning or later on tomorrow evening. So I'm gonna keep getting to work on this thing. I'll see y'all at a later time. Alright guys, it's early in the morning. I got the bike pulled out, and it's finally that time where it's like getting that nice and chill morning. So I'm gonna take advantage of it, and I'm gonna go ahead and start getting back to work on this thing. Yesterday we got the transmission in. Everything's looking good. Still could be wrong or whatever, but we're not really gonna know until we get the whole thing back together, which sucks, but we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna slap everything back together. I might time lapse some of it, I may not, just because y'all have already seen it and I'm trying to get it done. But when it's back together, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get it off the blocks, and hopefully I'm gonna remember that I need to run the auto parts store and get some transmission fluid. So let's hope I don't run it without transmission fluid, but I don't think I will. I think I'll go ahead and write me a little note on the shifter. But bike's looking good, and the morning feels good, so we're gonna get to work. I'll see you guys when it's done. Let me tell you what we got done on here. Drive shaft is in, support is in, the shield is in. Y'all remember all that stuff, but the only thing not in now is the exhaust. Reason being is I don't want to put the stock exhaust on, like I said already, but I don't want to build one just yet. I want to order some like stainless steel pipe and actually TIG weld it all. But for now, I think what I'm gonna do is I have to go to O'Reilly's anyway to pick up some transmission fluid. So what I'm gonna do is just see about getting a flange that'll bolt up to here if they have it, and then just do a little turn down. It shouldn't be crazy loud. It does have 2 resonators, not really mufflers, but I like it loud, so I don't think it's really gonna affect me. Back from the parts store, we got a huge mess in here, so the second this thing's done, we're gonna have to get to clean it. But got a little turn down. It's a little janky, but it fits right over here nicely. I got the wrong exhaust clamp. I don't know, I guess it was in, it got a 1.5 inch exhaust clamp, but it was in the 2.5 inch spot, so I should have paid attention, but I didn't. So what we're gonna actually do now is I'm gonna go ahead and put the transmission fluid in before I forget. First things first, let's get down here. All right, so hopefully we don't have to be down here too many more times, because it's starting to get a little annoying. All right, so right here is the drain bolt. So we're actually going to crack that open, drain anything that's in there out of there, and then here is the fill bolt. So the way this works is what you do is you actually remove this fill bolt here. You can fill it from here, but me and my grandfather, when we did the first transmission change, that sucked filling it from here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to open this, pull that bolt out, and then go up top, and since the shifter's already out, I'm going to just pour it in from the top of the shifter, and when it starts to come out of here, it's full, and then we can cap it off and everything. So we're going to go ahead, get the socket for that, crack that baby open, and I want to tell y'all a little bit about the fluid you're actually supposed to use in this transmission. Alright, so the fluid you're actually supposed to use in this style of transmission, this is out of the Renesis engine, of course, and it's a 6-speed manual, obviously, but the synchros in it, they really go out if you use anything that's GL5. You'll be able to see it on the container. you really want a 75 W90 weight GL FAR. That's what you want to put in here, the GL FAR. Now, I couldn't find any of that at the parts store. All I could find was 140. They say that's okay to use. It's just going to be a little more syrupy of a shift, especially on a colder day. I'm not going to run it forever. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to use it to kind of clean the transmission out a little bit, and then I'm going to actually do a transmission change in the first like 100 miles maybe, and I'm going to change it to Redline MT90. That is the go-to gear oil. If you look on any farm and everything, these transmissions love the Redline in MT90. So I'm going to get some of that on order, and we're going to do that transmission change at a later date. But for now, I'm just going to put in some 140 weight GL FAR, making sure that it says GL FAR on it, and that Redline MT90 is. So we're gonna get right to that. I'm gonna prop y'all down, and y'all tell me when it's full, even though y'all aren't gonna be able to tell me in real time, so I'm probably gonna spill some. Alright guys, so we pulled the drain bolt, and there is actually some left over in there, so I'm glad we went ahead and poured it. I'm gonna step away and let all this drain out nice and good, and then we'll start filling the transmission. Alright, so I'm about to jump on top of the car, start filling the fluid from the shifter. This hole right here is the fill hole. The bolt's out, so when it starts pouring out of here, that means you're full, level's good. I'm not gonna be able to see that down here, so I'm gonna just try to listen for it dropping into the drain pan. So I'm gonna jump up there and get to that. Wow, well, I wasted a lot of that. I was listening for it, but I never heard it. I guess better too full than not full, but it's gonna end up being the level we need, because it's just gonna drain out to the level we want. So I guess this works out. I'll be here in a minute. Alright guys, so it stopped flowing out of there, so I went ahead and put the bolt in there, cleaned it up a little bit with a rag. While that was happening, I went ahead and got the exhaust on and those back braces. So now it's pretty much complete. I guess it's time to plug the battery back up and give it a test fire. Alright guys, we're in the car. There's a little bit of a glare, I'm sorry about that. The shifter is just sitting in there right now, but it's in neutral. Go through the gears pretty well. The reverse lockout plate is not on there right now, but that's okay. It's in neutral. We had the e-brake pulled just in case. The clutch feels solid, feels good. So we're gonna try to crank this baby. Alright, well, I put it in gear and just slipped the clutch just to see if we had some drag, and it is dragging the engine down, so that's good. It's not going to roll because the e-brake's on, but that's a really good sign. That means the clutch is working because it was in gear with the clutch engaged. And also, I happen to notice that the the exhaust is way too loud, so we're going to go ahead and throw the stock exhaust back on it for now. Until I can actually make something. And now I know that I need to make something with mufflers, because that was way too loud, and I don't want to blow my eardrums out. So I guess I'm gonna throw the stock exhaust on now, and then we'll get it off these blocks and try to go for a little test drive. Alright guys, The car is back on the ground for the first time in a while, and I'm excited to drive this baby out. We're gonna see just whether or not it does. So I'm gonna hop in there with you guys. We're gonna crank it up. The shifter is not mounted in there, but you know, actually, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and mount the shifter real quick. So let's jump in there. Alright guys, so it's super easy to mount this shifter. This shift knob right here slips in. Now this little metal tab right here is for the reverse lockout. You want to make sure that's facing the passenger side. It's slipped in neutral. And you want to get your, it's a retainer plate, and it's also the reverse lockout, that little beveled edge right here. So we're going to slip that down there. And it's got, let me show you real quick, it's got those little holes. Those line up with these little pins, so it locks right in. All right, and then you have 3 bolts. They're all 10 millimeter. So we're just going to get these started by our hand. I just got them in the cup holder here. Alright, and your RX8 may not have all this material. This is like a sound deadening. The previous owner stuck that in there, so trying to get this out the way. There we go. Don't want to drop this and have to go get it. Alright, so like I said, it is a 10 millimeter. So I'm gonna just take my socket and extension and screw these on by hand. And these are going into the aluminum of the transmission, so you want to try and be careful not to strip them out when you tighten them. They don't really need a whole lot of torque. Just gonna make them hand tight. Alright, and I have a shift boot and everything to go on there. I'm not going to put it on right now just in case there's any weird noises or something. I can probably hear it better. So I'm going to go ahead and screw my shifter on. That should be good there. Alright. Now, the way this reverse lockout works, I'll get y'all in a little closer, is that's neutral. That metal tab is going to hit that. It's not going to let you go in reverse. So when you push it down, it goes under that metal tab and back into reverse. All right, so we're going to shut the door here, get the key going. I'll roll these windows down. All right, I'm going to scoot my seat up a little bit. So right now I'm just going to feel the clutch. Feels pretty good. Feeling the brakes, they feel pretty good. Gonna release the e-brake. All right, so now we're in neutral. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the e-brake again just in case you have any problems on startup. Neutral, crank this baby up. Much quieter. All right, and the clutch is released. So now I'm gonna put it in gear and release the e-brake, and we're gonna see if I can get this baby out. Get this thing in reverse. Alright, we are driving. We need to get it out the backyard to see how the shifts feel. Alright guys, we are chooching. It's in third gear right now. Now, the transmission that was in it would not let me downshift in the second without grinding. So we're coming up to the stop sign up here. I'm gonna go ahead, push the clutch in and try to downshift. Sweet! So we're in second now, no grinding. That's amazing. Try it in the first. All right. This clutch definitely grabs harder than the stock clutch, so I'm getting a little used to it. Oh, it's running great. Downshifts are smooth, upshifts are smooth. This is amazing. The feedback I'm getting from the shifter is way better than the stock transmission, or it's still a stock transmission. It's way better than the original transmission. It felt very slushy. This one is clicking in the gear nice. I'm really happy with this. The clutch is definitely noisier than the stock clutch, but that's one of those you reap you sow. Just to get all this grime off, I'm gonna try to clean up the wheels as much. All right guys, got the body washed up. Not the best cleanup ever, but it is looking way better. I'm actually gonna head, we're gonna go clothes shopping for tomorrow, me and the girlfriend. So I'm gonna head to Home Depot and get some stuff that my cousin showed me called Zep, and it's like a chemical cleaner for wheels. I don't know if it's really for wheels, but it is a chemical cleaner, and it works magic on these Mazda aluminum alloys. So what I'm gonna do is go there and then we'll finish cleaning up the wheels. But other than that, it's looking pretty solid. Still gotta put the mirror caps on. They're yellow right now, but the paint's not the best on this thing, but it's looking good. I'm happy with it. We're gonna take it for a test drive, and hopefully it all goes good. We're driving a good little ways, so I'm gonna risk it. But hopefully y'all don't see the next clip. We're stuck on the side of the road. All right guys, quick little update. Went ahead and popped the mirror caps on before we went for a drive, and this is actually the color that we're gonna be wrapping the car, and it looks so good outside. It's a golden yellow metallic, and I think it's gonna look amazing, especially in the sunlight. So we're gonna be rocking the yellow mirrors on the black car for this trip, and we'll get back to it. All right, so we're back from the little road trip. Actually ended up putting about 70 miles on the car already, and it is doing great. We did end up picking up Zep, and look what it did to these wheels. I mean, obviously they got some road rash on them from the previous owners, but they look a ton better than what they did at first, and I'm happy with that. Which they're probably gonna go before too long, but it is nice to clean them up for a while I'm driving it. And the car is looking good. It's driving good. The clutch it grabs a little more than the stock one, but that's what you should expect with a 6-puck clutch. So my parents got the truck down, and we got to go run some errands in the truck. So I'm gonna end today's video off with that. We got the transmission in, we got the clutch all together, and it drives good. I call that a success, and I'll see y'all in the next video.